Homelessness is a big and growing issue in Manitoba, one our province has pledged to tackle. In a little more than a decade, the most populous city in Texas has found a way to put a roof over the heads of more than 30,000 people there who had been struggling with homelessness. The Houston model has attracted attention around the world, including right here in Winnipeg. Winnipeg's mayor, Scott Gillingham, traveled to Houston in September and is considering a similar approach. Radio-Canada colleague Gavin Boutsois visited Houston to learn more.
Good morning, y'all. Got some cat food.
In a small patch of brush just outside of Houston, Texas, an outreach team visits a homeless encampment. Colorful strings and trinkets line a well-trodden dirt path leading to 3 Keep the Peace Lane, Robbie Brown's camp.
We've been homeless 7 years.
Brown became homeless when her husband lost a leg following a workplace accident. Outreach worker Molly Permenter gives her naloxone for the reversal of opioid overdoses and a pack of Lucky Strikes. The outreach team sets up a meeting with the Humane Society for her cats and discusses getting Brown on a list for housing.
I know this isn't enough.
Within months, she and her husband could be housed in an apartment with services adapted to their needs. This is the Houston model in action.
Houston believes that you either go big or you go home. And in Houston, we go big to send our most vulnerable home.
Mark Eichenbaum is one of the architects of the Houston model. In 2011, the Texan city had one of the largest homeless populations in the U.S.
We were spending tens of millions of dollars on the issue, but we weren't getting any reductions.
Tired of just managing the issue, Eichenbaum took a deep dive into the data about different approaches to homelessness. That led him to the Housing First model. Simply put, the government pays to house homeless people and then provides them with all sorts of support services. The city created a new agency to act as an air traffic control tower to the homeless response system, the Coalition for the Homeless.
So we are the ones that make sure that everybody is aligned correctly, that all the right services are coordinated.
Kelly Young says this is the most cost-efficient approach as well as being the most compassionate. The estimated annual cost for services for someone living unsheltered works out to just over $55,000 Canadian per year, while putting people in housing costs less than half. Since 2011, yearly point-in-time counts of people experiencing homelessness in Houston show a reduction of 2/3. The coalition estimates that it's housed over 30,000 people.
I believe that this is a new beginning.
Frederick Harris is one of them. He suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder following a deployment in Afghanistan.
I lost my car and everything, and it was this constant snowball effect of where I'm drinking every day to medicate myself.
In 2018, he was matched with an apartment right before Christmas, and he was able to treat his PTSD.
In the program, you can actually sit back and say, hey, I have a place to stay, I don't have to worry about that.
Now he's getting ready to leave his apartment because he's in the process of buying a house.
The city's been decommissioning camps pretty much all last year.
Houston also involves emergency services in its approach. The local police department has a unit that specializes in homeless outreach.
So if we can get that homeless person housed, it helps them, but it also helps whoever, initially made that complaint.
But Robbie Brown says Houston's model isn't perfect. She and her husband were once housed by the coalition about 7 years ago.
The housing was horrible.
She says they were eventually kicked out by the landlord, but now faced with the devastating physical toll that comes with being homeless, she's putting her name on the wait list for housing again. Epidemiologist Catherine Troisi says chronic homeless cases like Brown's are the hardest to solve, but that Housing First remains the best approach.
We know that there will always be people who are homeless. The idea is that it's brief and rare.
Over 90% of people experiencing homelessness who were housed in Houston since 2011 remain in their apartments for at least 2 years. For CBC Manitoba, Gavin Boutsois, Houston, Texas.